efforts are ongoing.
Welcome back to the Soup Fest, everyone. I know. I can hear you guys all crying tears of joy right now. Thank you. No, please. I'm here all week. I know you guys are overjoyed that the camera quality did, in fact, return to the channel. It is a good day in the United States of the USA, indeed. Give it up, class. We not moving up in life, we moving sideways. Amen, amen. Let's just hope that Uncle Soup doesn't get drafted for the next big war and then end up going missing due to an unforeseen catastrophic event for 4 months. Otherwise, the camera quality is doomed. So I got a little bit of a simple one for you guys today. Okay, a bite-sized chunk of analog horror, easily digestible for the small, feeble brains over here in the Soupy Soup community, okay? As always, this one was recommended to me by one of y'all via email. Oh, bless your heart. Oh, ain't you special? Ain't you a little dandy? In all seriousness, though, I mean, your guys' recommendations are genuinely, the glue, the adhesive, if you will, that holds this channel together. I mean, surely it would otherwise be in shambles. I mean, look at who's running this whole thing. I mean, I'm from Florida. I'm from Florida, people. Okay, I am not to be trusted. Yes. So, anyways, the slice of digitized existential dread I'm going to be showing to you it's a series. And I really don't know how to say this part. Are you sitting down? You sitting down already? Have a seat. This is gonna be a lot to digest. But the series we're gonna be talking about today doesn't start on YouTube. It starts with a Reddit post. I know we're really at the point of no return here, people. It really took a massive hit to the budget. In all seriousness, though, I thought this one was really interesting. And we'll just have we're gonna take a look at it together, you and me. Yeah, come on, come here, just close your eyes, it'll be over soon. So the starting point of the series, again, it originates on Reddit, more specifically on the subreddit r/creepypasta. Okay, we're off to a strong start here, people. And it was originally posted by the user Luke, of course. Their account unfortunately has since been suspended or deleted, or I don't know. I tried looking to see if they had any other stories on there, but I guess this one is lost on us, people. So this means only one thing. It means that my channel is gonna have to switch genres here for a second, and I am gonna have to recite this story to you guys for a couple of minutes. I'm sorry. This channel is really slowly turning into the 99-cent store version of Creepcast, isn't it? No, we're not even gonna call ourselves that. That's disgraceful. We might as well just call it Clumpcast at this point. So the title of the post is as follows, very, very eye-catching. It was called, I was told the town I lived in never existed. Now I've found proof it did. Now it's time for the broth lady to read you a bedtime story. So gather around, kids, sit around grandma's crock pot. We're cooking baked beans tonight. I lost my husband on April 30th, 1986. Not to death, he just disappeared. We were living in a town called Brookmore, South Carolina, a quiet, small place. We were set to fly to Europe, but I was visiting his mother before our trip. Eric stayed behind to handle a few things. We planned to meet at the airport on May 3rd. He never showed. At the gate, an airline staffer handed me a note. It was from Eric, said the phone lines were down and he couldn't leave the house unattended while utility workers messed with the junction box. He begged me to go ahead, said he'd catch up, and I believed him, but he never came. Then things got strange. My green card revoked. The embassy claimed I'd never entered the US. No record of a house, no marriage certificate. Eric's mother denied ever having a son. My family back in Slovakia told me I never got married in Brookmore. Apparently it doesn't exist. not on any map, no town by the name in South Carolina. The embassy even said you must be confusing it with somewhere else. Therapists diagnosed me with persistent complex confabulation, said my memories were false. Detailed, yes, but made up. My brain scans came back normal, but they put me on antipsychotics anyway. I gave in, convinced myself I'd imagined an entire life. Years later, I returned to the US on a work visa and settled in Hardyville, and I started remembering again. The Catfish Festival, an old decommissioned train Eric and I visited on our anniversary. They were real, just like my delusions. I drove toward where I remembered Brookmore. The road was gone, just forest. I forced my way in, clawing through brambles, sobbing, screaming for Eric. Hours passed. I ended up exactly where I started, no sign of the town. Then days ago, something shattered the silence. While watching YouTube, I stumbled upon something that froze me in place. A distorted broadcast from Channel 72, Brookmore's local TV station. The call sign WBRM-CA. Real, just like I remembered. The channel, ominously titled There Is No Home, features warped tapes. But I recognized names listed in Tape 2 forecast. Neighbors, friends, people I was told never existed. For the first time in decades, I feel like I'm not alone in remembering Brookmore. Maybe someone else knows. Maybe Eric is out there. Maybe Brookmore was real. And if someone preserved these broadcasts, maybe more of the truth is waiting to be uncovered. I need to know. Oh yeah, people. This pasta is pretty creepy, okay? Well, of course, our first blues clue is pretty obvious, and we are expected to turn our noses towards the aforementioned YouTube channel, There Is No Home. Hey, look! Look, you see that? It's Eric! Everyone say hi, Eric! Look at it. It's a picture of him. He's so happy. Yay! We found him. Oh my god, no, we found him. We need to get him out. 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 Sorry, that bit went on. That bit went on way too long. Way longer than I planned. I'm sorry. We'll cut that one out. Okay, so the first upload to the channel is simply titled Tape 1, Static. The entirety of the footage is from the point of view of someone driving down a dirt road in the woods, with warped, old-timey music playing on the radio in the very beginning, just to remind us that we are in fact watching an analog horror. The person behind the camera can be heard heavily breathing, almost in a panic. And towards the end, a loud rumbling sound starts to intensify before the car seemingly veers off the road and the footage comes to a close. The second episode, titled Tape 2 Forecast, seems to show a recording of a local news broadcast coming from Brookmore. As the interlude lists off the channel's schedule, the footage immediately cuts to yet another POV video of someone driving through a dirt path in the woods, and then cuts back to the TV footage again. Only this time it's listing off the names of people, the people that were mentioned in the short story we read through earlier. And if you guys recall, the wife of Eric describes these people as neighbors, friends, people that she very well knew. The footage continues to glitch between the channel schedule and the list of people's names, and look, I ain't about to explain what happens next. You know what? You just sit down and watch it. Watch this clip. Leave your home, come on, it's safe. Come outside, Brookmore home, come outside, very safe. Come enjoy evening prayer in the woods. See, that's a lot more convincing. See, now if it was a guy on the TV telling me specifically to do all that, then I'd sit down, I'd shut up and listen, I'd act right. I'd behave. The third and final episode on the channel is titled Tape 3, Containment. And it slaps us in the face with a warning. DARC, warning. This material is classified and intended for internal use only. Unauthorized access, duplication, or distribution of this tape is strictly and constitutes a federal offense under U.S. Code 798 and 1030. By viewing this tape, you acknowledge the sensitive nature of its contents and agree to comply with all confidentiality protocols. Any breach will result in immediate disciplinary action, including blah, 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 blah. You know, that, yeah, okay. And that is exactly why it was uploaded to YouTube, so that I wouldn't watch it and make a video essay on it. Okay. I love it when analog horrors do this. I love it. It's like finding that extra French fry at the bottom of your on your car floor, or you know what? No, more specifically, it's like finding a cigarette butt on the ground. Never mind. And of course, the next slide here confirms the Army's apparent involvement in this endeavor. And this is further confirmation. I mean, I always knew they were going to militarize South Carolina one of these days. Anyways, the footage seems to be an introductory tape to the Brookmore containment operation dating back to June 14, 1986, the local point of which originated from a building called Waypoint Zero. The narrator discusses the Foundation's research and documentative efforts of the building and shows the various places where security cameras were set up within the building. According to the narration, this house has been connected to numerous disappearances within Brookmore, including that of the Covington family, which was one of the family names listed in the previous video. So this is implying that these people were apparently one of the very first families to go missing in the area. 58 seconds into the video, the narrator ambiguously states that several iterations of this operation was executed by different teams, along with a heavily censored sentence indicating that the bodies of some unknown individuals were never recovered, confirming that there is at least a couple of fatalities in relation to this anomaly. She elaborates that any attempt to send people inside the building for research purposes resulted in them vanishing without a trace. The team strategizes that they are going to have to relocate the residents of Brookmore to a couple of, bunkers, underground bunkers, what have you, in the local area as depicted on the map here. One of these places is quite cutely dubbed as the Brookmore Bunker, a cozy little place for the whole family to bunk up in. For a few seconds, the footage also shows us a bird's eye view of what we can assume to be the city of Brookmore, and if you look closely and squint your eyes and snap your neck in half, you might notice that there seems to be a perimeter around the city walling it off. They don't want nobody getting out of that town, all right? What happens in South Carolina stays in South Carolina. The narrator goes on to emphasize the fact that families with children will be prioritized for the evacuation, while it cycles between nighttime footage of the security cameras. For a split second, the footage cuts to static, and a few upside-down scrambled letters appear on the screen, and then when unscrambled, they translate to dissonance. Now, the definition of dissonance, according to Google, what, you thought I was just gonna automatically know what that meant? No, I was homeschooled, idiot. What's wrong with you? How could you do this? Don't look at me. According to Google, the definition is a tension or clash resulting from the combination of two disharmonious or unsuitable elements. Oh my god. Oh my god. I get it now. It all makes sense. This is about the battle between North Carolina and South Carolina because, oh my gosh, there can only be one Carolina, and only the best can win. Only the strongest can win. Now, I actually don't know how this word pertains to anything. I mean, I have a hunch, but I don't know. Actually, I don't know anything. More specifically, I don't know anything at all. While showing us the operation's objectives, the footage glitches and switches between Japanese lettering of the exact same sentence and English. And then it changes again, only this time to the phrase, see something, say something. Still cycling between English and Japanese, the narrator confirms my suspicion that there was a barrier set up around the town by stating that the entire area has been barricaded, and for a split second, Japanese lettering flashes on the screen once more. It translates to, "I guess you don't want to leave." Now, returning back to the footage, the narrator states that most of the anomalous occurrences seem to be subsiding, and they tend to be more isolated at this point towards the waypoint 0 area. So, therefore, the operation decides to do the only smart thing in this scenario and tear down the waypoint 0 building, because why not? And they even show us cool diagrams on how they're gonna do it. That's nice. That's cool. That doesn't help, but it's cool. And if you look closely, it even says they're gonna collect gas from resident cars. Wow, that's so smart. And then, oh my God, when the plan doesn't work, then people won't be able to leave. They won't be able to get in their cars and leave. Not that they could leave to begin with, because you guys walled off the city. You gotta think outside the box. No, you gotta think inside the box. Think inside the walls. We gotta think inside the walls of this city, because we're given, those circumstances, that is where the video sadly ends. So I guess we all know how the demolition went. Because screw the entire town of Brookmore, I guess. Because why would you ever want to leave? That's rude, asshole. All right, Soup Gang, it is time to put on our thinking caps here, okay? So before getting into the analysis of this series, I just kind of wanted to point out the fact that this actually reminds me of that one creepy pasta called The Disappearance of Ashley, Kansas. If you guys remember, this was featured on one of the Creepcast episodes. Can you tell that I'm a fan yet? Anyways, I'm not sure if this was intentional or not, but generally speaking, there seems to be a large pull in the horror sphere, if you will, towards towns that disappear. This is one of many examples of this, and I remember, this is a concept that just has been used as a trope a lot. That's not a criticism, by the way. I actually think it's a pretty cool concept that you can do a lot with creatively, and I think that this shows that there's a lot of opportunities to be nifty with it and inventive, and this is cool, and I think this is nifty. I think this is a nifty concept. Anyway, circling back to the series, though, I want to touch on some of the more cryptic things that were dispersed about the last video, right? So there was a lot of weird shit going on, to point out the elephant in the room, like the switching between Japanese and English, the mentioning of the word dissonance, and even more strangely, the reference to the phrase "see something, say something." Immediately, my analog horror brain rot-ridden brain wants to jump to the conclusion that this is about some sort of interdimensional conflict taking place, which is exactly what I'm going to do. I'm kidding. I'm not. I do have another idea though, but it's it might be reaching a little bit. We're gonna put it out there anyways though. The term "see something, say something" was coined by the Department of Homeland Security as a means of encouraging people to speak up if they suspect any form of terrorism taking place. Now, what does this have to do with a small town in South Carolina seemingly getting wiped off the map without a trace? Well, immediately to me, and granted at a very, very superficial level, this narrative is kind of reminiscent to me of the tragedy that was the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, Japan. Most of you are probably already familiar with this event, but to those of you who are not, it was an atomic bomb strike on the cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki by the US that ended up taking the lives of hundreds of thousands of innocent civilians. And in a sense, it almost completely wiped both of these cities off the map. And I am well aware of the fact that I am most definitely probably reaching here with this theory, but the mentioning of "see something, say something," and the switching between English and Japanese, and the fact that we are now talking about a small city in South Carolina that seemingly got wiped off the face of the map. I'm kind of starting to see parallels here between two stories that otherwise would seem completely unrelated, without the main, hint there of the see something, say something phrase. I mean, I don't know. I feel like it could be symbolic, or it could be that I'm full of shit. I don't know. Now, could this all be a commentary on the hypocritical nature behind the term see something, say something, while we got the US doing, this bullshit? Yeah, I can see it. And here's why. Because immediately after the tragic bombing, the US government actively suppressed Japanese and other foreign news outlets that were candidly reporting on this nuclear bomb strike. So, see something, say something. Yeah, yay for thee, but not for me, ass country. Again, I could very well be projecting my personal beliefs on this project, which I don't want to do. Take this with a grain of salt, but that's my interpretation because I hear and see what I want to hear. And then alternatively, this very well could be a story about two clashing dimensions. And no, I'm not gonna make another North and South Carolina joke, okay? We're better than this, people. We can change. As previously stated, the definition of the word dissonance is, defined as a lack of harmony or a clashing between two elements. And while this also kind of plays into the Hiroshima narrative that I suggested earlier, this can also be interpreted in a very literal sense. Maybe there was a fracture in space-time, between two alternate dimensions that occurred at waypoint 0, and then it caused a rift in the fabric of the universe. I don't know. Yeah, that theory fell apart right as I was saying it. I should just quit at this point. And alternatively, the use of the word dissonance could be referring to some sort of internal conflict that was occurring within the team at the time that was researching this. The implication here is that everything, went south when a group of geniuses decided to demolish the Waypoint 0 building in response to the anomalies seemingly starting to isolate themselves there once more, So when things get better, we like to challenge that. And one of the documents in the video said that they were going to do this by collecting gas from people's cars and stuff. So, it's hard not to see the chaotic and desperate nature behind all of this. Almost like they were scrambling, and they were operating with limited resources, right? So there's a sense of panic there. With the chaotic nature of everything, it isn't hard to believe that this might have escalated to some disputes or conflict within the team that caused them to go on diverging paths, and then chaos ensued, and this could have very well led to the town going getting suckled back into the Earth's bunghole, if you will. Now, the only thing that kind of turns all of these theories onto their heads, however, is the single phrase, "I guess you don't want to leave," which hints at an intelligence at play here behind this whole anomaly. And to me, it almost feels like a rapture type of scenario. Not to go with the whole biblical analog horror lens here, but maybe this could be in a biblical sense, but maybe not. Maybe, perhaps this is just some entity beyond our human comprehension that is beckoning people to leave their plane of existence and come live with them in the bunghole dimension, right? And in a way, it kind of feels like a Venus flytrap in a sense, like with everything kind of being localized initially to Waypoint 0, it was just like lying in wait, like this, like a spider web for people to fall and get trapped and I don't know. I'm just now kind of realizing that while I'm sharing this with you guys. But it is interesting, huh? And yeah, with this phrase, it almost sounds offended by the Army's attempts to control the span of the Waypoint 0 anomaly and get this shit resolved, right? It's like, come on. It's like, that's how the anomaly is talking, the Waypoint 0. It's like, hey, what the fuck, bitch? Come on, man. Anyways, I'm done yapping. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. As always, I am going to leave a link to the There Is No Home YouTube channel, as well as the original creepypasta post down in the description below. Please give them love and hugs. and kisses from the Soupy Soup family, of course, because I want to see this series continue. I do believe it has a lot of potential, and it looks like one that we very well might be revisiting in the future. So let's give it up for whoever made this. And I'll shut up. I just think this was really interesting, and I love to see what direction it takes. But until next time, bye.